Three. Oh, hey Jeff, how are you?
Good, Jennifer. How's it going?
I couldn't be better. Just been running around getting some stuff done today. Thought we could talk about foreclosures.
Let's talk about
Are they a good deal, really? I think people think that they're a good deal, but what do you think about them?
them. I think once upon a time they were. The
Yeah,
market's changed. This market we're in now, and you know better than I do because you're showing houses every day. It's just every deal is scooped up, and there's usually minimally 5 offers on every house. So I think previously they were a good deal, and I think sometime in the future there'll be a good deal. But right now, I'm guessing no.
well,
Right,
it's a
but
seller's market,
you're
kind
the
of.
real estate professional.
And there's kind of a lot of
Yeah.
offers on most houses. So if I were a seller and or a bank that is a seller, I would be kind of selective about what offer I would accept.
Sure.
Highest and best doesn't always mean the highest price. Sometimes it means the best kind of loan quality. So what do you think about
Absolutely.
foreclosures with FHA?
I think they're almost impossible to do
Yeah,
with the inspection requirements. As you know, when you're buying a foreclosure, it's different types of foreclosure. If it's at an auction, you can't get access to the property at all,
right.
right? So that's pretty much needs to be a cash deal, or you got to get in there to have the water and power, everything turned on for the appraisal. If it's bank owned, it's possible, but what everyone has to keep in mind is if most foreclosures will need some repairs.
Right.
So if it's paint and carpet, not a big deal, it's cosmetic. Speaking from previous experience, it's not only as a lender, but also I've bought my share of properties,
Yeah.
foreclosure properties. People tend to destroy them on the inside. And so I've had buyers tell me, well, I'm a contractor, I can do all this myself.
You
I'm
won't
sure
even
you
get that
can,
far.
but
Yeah.
right. Yeah, right now it's not a livable property,
Right.
right?
So what
So
people don't
I,
understand is those deals will fall through because of the
absolutely.
repairs. And since the seller is a bank and they're selling it as is, they're not going to be willing to
Right.
do the repairs on the home inspection, but even more so on the appraisal. So you won't get past that appraisal. And at that point, you've
Exactly.
invested probably what, $500-600 on the appraisal, $500 or $600 on inspections, and maybe even a
Exactly.
deposit. So we caution
Yeah.
people about going into a foreclosure without having a lot of knowledge about it.
No, you're 100% right. I mean, for the right skill set, someone who's been investing and they have, and they're cash buyers, because cash does speak volumes on those. But yeah,
Yep.
I think for your typical buyer looking for a house to live, I don't think it's the best way to do it personally.
So here's a common myth. You buy a foreclosure, you bought it for $200,000, you got a great deal on it, but it needs $50,000 worth of work. You do $50,000 worth of work and it's worth $250,000. Where's the good
Right.
deal? You just went through a whole bunch of
Yeah.
trouble to gain no equity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if
The
you're
only
if
thing you
you're a
did
cash
was,
buyer and you can come in way under asking price and get, an
exactly.
actual good deal and do the repairs yourself, I think you might be in a pretty good spot. But right now,
Right.
foreclosures they're pretty much going for market value, I think.
Sure. Yeah. And you're right. In that scenario you just presented, the only thing you really accomplished was you ruined the values for the rest of the neighborhood because those $250,000
True.
houses now have a comparable showing that sold for 200,000. So you're right though.
Yep.
Because the bank's not going to do it. They have no desire to.
Now there used to be certain kind of loans that you could use for properties that needed a lot of work. And I don't know if your company does this, but just for example, the 203K or the 203B rehab loan, right?
We do.
Okay.
Yep, we
So how
do.
does that work? You can't be your own contractor.
You cannot, you got to have a licensed GC contractor. You're exactly right. And, I've had people say, well, I'm going to do it myself. That's fine. I got to have the bids and quotes and the checks going to the licensed general
Right.
contractor, that you guys can work that out. But yeah, it's the same thing. But the problem is getting access, especially on a 203K.
Right.
You got people going in and out. You got to do multiple inspections depending on how much work is done. So you got the appraiser going back there several times. And again, on a bank, they're not going to do a 75 or 90-day contract. If you sign
Sure.
that contract, you're going to buy it. They want you closed in 30
They
days,
want you to
right?
close
So,
quickly. Yeah.
so the answer is, yes, we can do the rehab loans, conventional and FHA, but just I don't think it's going to work on a foreclosure.
But still, what you're going to get is a $200,000 house and then $50,000 worth of work and then a $250,000 house afterwards.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, if the person had it for a while before they had their financial issues and they paid the mortgage down, then the bank's going to let it go, enough to pay for the mortgage. But I think more times than not, you're 100% correct.
Okay, here's another myth. The banks don't want to hold on to real estate. They just want to hurry up and unload them. What do you think about that myth?
the bank wants to recoup the money they have in it, right? So
Absolutely.
if they have a $200,000 balance, and they're going to pay someone like you, a real estate agent who's marketing the commission, and they're paying the taxes and all, they want to recoup their money. They're not going to let that property go for $120,000, like
Right.
the
They're not going to
infomercials
give it away, in other words.
tell you they do.
Right. Well, banks, let's
Right.
be honest,
I
if
know
it's
the
bank-owned
infomercials.
property, banks are in the business of making money, hence the word bank. So if they own
Exactly
real
right.
estate, you know, they're not just going to give away houses. That's definitely a myth.
Right. Yeah. But if you watch late night infomercials, they tell you differently, but the real world,
They do. They do.
Hey, I've seen them.
And you know what's funny too is, you know, people think like, okay, so if you just offer more money, you know, the bank might select your offer, but highest and best doesn't always mean the highest offer. Highest and best might mean the best type of loan. So if you're FHA, VA, or USDA, unfortunately, that bank is probably going to select the offer that's more closely related to cash or conventional, primarily cash. And even still, it's going to be up to the buyer to turn on the power and the water, which is really frustrating.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And it's just, and there's nothing wrong with those loans you just mentioned, other than from the bank foreclosure standpoint, you know, like VA protects their veterans, which I really love, but they're so tight. So that appraiser makes all these repairs. Guess what? You're not closing, right?
Right.
And USDA is,
USDA
is the same place. Yeah, exactly. So you're 100% right. I just want the viewers to understand why. There's nothing wrong with VA, USDA, or FHA loans. It's a matter of the appraisal.
Now, what if you're a VA buyer buying a VA property if it's owned by the VA? How does that work?
That's an excellent question. I don't know the answer to.
Well, I know that, you know, HUD-owned properties are FHA properties. HUD and FHA, one and the same. Once upon a time, they would break their own rules to be able to accommodate those FHA loans. Are we still doing that?
Again, I know that's used to, and I don't know. I've not had one of those in so long, so I hate to be a dummy, but I'd rather tell you I don't know.
We think there might be a round of foreclosures coming only because they put a stop to foreclosures, you know, because of COVID. And we're just trying to prepare the viewers. Basically, you know, when these onslaught of foreclosures do become available on the market, that doesn't necessarily mean there's a whole bunch of great deals out there and we should all go foreclosure hunting.
Yeah, it's one of those things where any buyer needs to do their due diligence. Absolutely. But if you want to look at foreclosure, I think you do due diligence on steroids. Right.
Proceed with caution on the foreclosures. And as a matter of fact, I'd love to give somebody a list of foreclosures. I'm happy to do it now, or, you know, when they become more abundant, but just do your homework, talk to your realtor, talk to your lender about your loan type, and just make sure that you're on the right path to closing instead of the deal falling through, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you don't want to be $5,000 out of pocket and realize you can't close because you're not getting that deposit back. You're not getting the money for the appraisal back. You're not getting money for the home inspection back. Those people did the work. They're really getting paid. So you could easily be $5,000 in the hole without doing your research.
Right. And work with somebody that knows how to do foreclosures. Don't just work with anybody. Make sure you know, the person that you're working with. Lenders and realtors have experience somewhat in working with foreclosures so they can, prevent the common mistakes, because there are quite a few things that can go wrong during that process.
That's why I work with Jennifer Hollowell.
That's why I work with Jeff from Certainty Home Loans. Thank you so much, Jeff. Hopefully people will reach out if they have some questions about this stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.